Hello, viewers. This is Angela Arden with your daily Hollywood industry interview. This is Hollywood stars, stories, articles, and more. Let's get started. For this episode, I didn't really choose a person so much as a movie for the star. Because let's face it, it is an amazing movie, a legendary movie, a classic. And that is why it has been remade so many times. I will be focusing on the most current remake of A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper and as Jackson and Lady Gaga as Ally. Of course, there are a lot of other great actors and stars in their own right in this movie. Among them are Sam Elliott as Bobby, Jackson's brother, Dave Chappelle as Noodles, that was his nickname that Jackson had for him. He was clearly a longtime friend of his and someone he could trust. There was Anthony Ramos, who played kind of the villain as I see it in the movie, and his character's name was Raymond. There was Andrew Dice Clay, who played Lorenzo, and Lucas Nelson. Some movies I can only watch once. Some movies I can watch a few times. I could watch this 100 times and I'd be fine with it. So that is my intro about the subject today. Now, the article that I will be reading for you is from Entertainment Magazine and .com. And this one is entertainment.com. The title is A Star is Born, Our Intimate Conversation with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. It is by Tim Stack. It was done on August 31st of 2018 at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Bradley Cooper was warned. Friends discouraged the American Sniper star from choosing A Star is Born as his directorial debut. Aside from it being one of a handful of takes on the tragic romance, the project had stalled for years in Hollywood. I had a lot of people tell me, please don't do this. People I respect and who care about me, says Cooper, 43, on a hot afternoon in the Hollywood Hills. I just knew this could be the end of everything if it doesn't work. It's like, who's the guy making the fourth version of this movie? Shut up already. But I still could not deny what I felt deep down, and that's why it was this movie. It sort of ignited something in me. Cooper's Born charts and tumultuous relationships between alcoholic rock star Jackson Maine and burgeoning singer-songwriter Ally, played by pop icon Lady Gaga, 32. As Jackson falls deeper into addiction, Ally blazes a path toward superstardom. Cooper, who also co-wrote the script with Eric Roth and Will Fetters, has reshaped the story into an exhilarating emotional rock epic with a stirring original score. A career best performance from the actor and, yes, a career redefining role for Gaga, who won an acting Golden Globe in 2016 for her performance on American Horror Story Hotel. The film, which opens October 5th, has already generated awards talk for its two leads, and the pair's electricity on and off screen is undeniable. Entertainment Weekly sat down with Cooper and Gaga to talk about rebooting this classic tale, their friendship. Entertainment Weekly. Bradley, you were attached to star in this Early on with Clint Eastwood directing, right? Bradley Cooper. No, never. I wasn't going to do it. No, I was too young. I always thought I didn't have enough experience to play this guy. But that was when I first became aware of the project and first met Clint and actually. He was thinking about doing it and we were talking about it. I was 38 at the time. I'm 43 now. And I just thought, I don't know if I could buy me like that. And then life happens and we wound up doing American Sniper together, which aged me. And then a year of doing The Elephant Man aged me. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm ready. Honestly. Next question. What was it about this particular story that connected with you for it to be your directorial debut? Bradley Cooper. I always knew, God damn it, I'm going to have to, at some point, put it out there. Directorial debut. And then I was like, when am I going to have the guts to do it? And I also knew I could only direct something that I had a point of view about. And I always wanted to tell a love story. I thought, there's nothing better for me cinematically, my parenthesis then, end parenthesis, to be able to tell a love story. Like a real love story. A broken love story. It really was a culmination of a lot of moments. I, at the time, had become friends with a couple of musicians, and I was at a concert with one of my friends, and he's a drummer. I was backstage, and I saw the crowd from that point of view, and I thought, that's a great perspective that I really hadn't seen in movies. You're usually in the audience. I love Clint Eastwood, and I look up to him so much, and I always had in my mind, well, he was 41 when he made Play Misty for me. So I always thought when I get around that age, then I gotta just do it. And I had a dream. I know this sounds crazy. Where I saw the first 10 minutes of the movie. So I had this whole opening that I never even shot. But that was the inspiration. And that's what I pitched to Warner Brothers. It was like, here's the movie. And I walked them through the whole thing. Gaga, what drew you to this? Lady Gaga. This guy right here, I mean, when I heard that Bradley was attached to A Star is Born, and that he would not only be starring in it, but that he would be directing it, I was so excited because I was already such a huge fan of him as a brilliant actor. Next question. Did you know each other before you started working on A Star is Born? Bradley Cooper. No. We had a passing by a couple of years earlier at Saturday Night Live. Lady Gaga. We laugh about it when we see pictures of each other where we're like 2 feet from each other but not talking. Bradley Cooper. It's so funny how life works. It's like, so in 5 years, you guys will be inseparably close. Next question. Gaga, did you have to audition to play Ally? Lady Gaga. I did. I tested for the film. Bradley Cooper. We shot 10 pages in one day at her house. We were moving like lightning, and she completely gave herself to the process. And not everybody can do that. 10 pages in 8 hours. Lady Gaga. We sat down at the piano at my house and I heard him sing. And I remember I stopped playing. I was like, oh my gosh, Bradley, you can sing. And then we kept going. Before we knew it, we were harmonizing. And he filmed us doing it. We have a tape of the first time we ever sang together. Bradley Cooper. It's on my phone. When I look at it now, I'm like, oh my God, how could she say yes? I'm not that good. Next question. Did you have immediate chemistry? Bradley Cooper. From the moment. Now, Entertainment Weekly adds parentheses, we met, and parenth, which means that they felt he meant from the moment we met. But I like exactly what he said, so I'm going to read it without that parenth at the end so you can hear what he actually meant. Next question is the same question. I'm reading it again, viewers. Did you have immediate chemistry? Bradley Cooper. From the moment. You see? Lady Gaga. It's one of those things. And I think also we're both from the East Coast. Bradley Cooper. We both have Italian upbringing. Our families are very similar. Lady Gaga. Before I knew it, I was making him spaghetti and meatballs. It felt right. I was really kind of willing to do anything to show the studio and to show him that I had what it took to play this role. Bradley Cooper. She didn't have to show me. We made this sort of decision that first time at her house that we wanted to do the movie together. And we shook hands on it. And then it was just about, okay, here we go. And started a long journey. She knows everything about me. Everything. There is not one thing she doesn't know. And I believe the same for me. Next question. Gaga. This role was pivotal in the careers of Barbra Streisand, Judy Garland, and Janet Gaynor. Did you take it thinking this could be a game changer for your career? Lady Gaga. No, not because I didn't have faith that it would be a blockbuster, huge film, but just because I don't think about projects in that way. I don't go into it like, I'm going to do this because this is going to change my whole career. I went into it because I really believed in the story, and I really believed in the way he wanted to tell it. Next question. Gaga, did you put Bradley through Rockstar Boot Camp in order for him to play Jackson? Lady Gaga, I wouldn't say that I put him through it. I would say that he did the work. He was in the studio with us all the time and without me a lot of the times. Parentheses. Bourne's music collaborators include producer Mark Ronson, singer Jason Isbell, and Willie Nelson's son Lucas. Period and parenth. What I wanted for him more than anything was for him to discover that he already was a musician and that it just had to come out of him. Bradley Cooper. I grew up loving music. I also always felt like I had 6 characters in me, and one of them is a musician. I love to sing privately. I thought one day I could maybe pull that off. It really was the confidence she had in me that I would just find it. Next question. Bradley, did you look at specific rock stars as inspiration? Bradley Cooper. Anything that any artist does, I believe, is inspired by something they've seen, because that's something that we do. We look at the world, we soak it up, and then we create and say something that we want to say because of it. Everybody from Tom Waits to Mozart has inspired Jackson, Maine. Lady Gaga. I'll never forget the first time I heard him sing Jason Isabella's song, Maybe It's Time, parentheses, the song that opens Bourne's trailer, period, and parentheses. I was like, oh my goodness, the soul behind it. He told the story. There are so many famous musicians in the world that when they sing, I don't know what they're trying to tell me. He has the ability to do that. I think my favorite part is that within the first 15 seconds into the film, I'm like, this is a musician. Next question. Bradley, where did Jackson's voice come from? It's a raspy, almost growl. Bradley Cooper. I knew I wanted to lower my speaking voice an octave, so I hired, parentheses, dialect coach, and parentheses, Tim Monich early on. I mean, like a year before we shot the movie. He moved to LA, and we worked 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, on exercises and lowering my voice. It was brutal. And it took months and months and months. The person that I used was Sam Elliott, parentheses, who plays Jackson's brother, Bobby, end parentheses, because I didn't want, parentheses, Jackson, end parentheses, to be only a country musician, and I didn't want him to have an accent. Sam grew up in California, and his mother is from Texas, so it's kind of this great hybrid voice. Next question. While Bradley had to summon his rock swagger, Gaga, you had to strip all that away to perform as someone not used to the spotlight. How did you begin to play that? Lady Gaga. First of all, it was a makeup wipe handed to me by Bradley to take all the makeup off my face. So we did that. To dye my hair back to the original color, which is sort of a mousy brown that Allie has in the film. To be honest, I really felt afraid to take the stage with Jackson, Maine, because I was also going on with Bradley Cooper. At the time, I was always very aware that I was in the midst of a tremendously talented human being. I was able to play off of not only memories of what it felt like to be nervous to go on stage, but I also just remember it right there. I was standing on the side of the stage during that moment in Shallow, parentheses, the song in Newborn's trailer when the pair first sing on stage together, period, and parentheses. I was watching him rip roar on the guitar and sing. I really felt nervous. I really felt afraid. It really just took me back to that place. It was just so real, the way that it was all set up, that it was easy. Next question. The camera is also right up in your face during that intense performance scene. That must have been overwhelming. Lady Gaga. Well, I had to really just stay hand in hand with him, eye to eye with him, side by side, I had to really stay focused and trust him. That was the biggest thing, the trust. Next question. Tell me about the creation of the music and the soundtrack for the movie. Bradley Cooper. It was an evolution, like the story. It went hand in hand. We knew the story we wanted to tell, and then the music really became a character in the movie. There is no lyric that's ever in any point of the movie that doesn't have exactly to do with where one of them is, or hopes to be, or regrets being. That was our launching pad, and then it was just about discovering what songs fit in the right places. We had wonderful songwriters that helped us, and it was just an exploration. That's the only way I know how to do it. You have to go to work every day with the people that you want to work with and try and create something. Lady Gaga. There were so many songs, too. There was so much work that was created, so many different incarnations of each song. We were writing songs during the filming. Next question. You all shot at actual festivals like Glastonbury, Stagecoach, and Coachella. Gaga, you headlined Coachella while simultaneously filming A Star is Born. Bradley Cooper. She shot, headlined, and then shot. Lady Gaga. Bradley was like, "How are you going to do this?" I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Allie is going to play Coachella." When I actually look back at Coachella, it's more Allie to me. Bradley Cooper. The truth is, we made this movie for a very small budget considering what it was. And her doing that allowed us to have the week in between Coachella, parentheses, the grounds, end parentheses. We're still up, so we had the run of the entire place. All the stages for 5 days. It was the first stuff we shot. That was amazing because that was the first time I sang on stage with her. I couldn't believe how easy it was. Lady Gaga. It was so easy, and it was live. I was so excited that he wanted to do all the music live and record our voices live. It's my least favorite thing when I'm watching a movie that has music in it, when someone starts to sing and they're lip syncing. Bradley Cooper. Stagecoach was shot in 8 minutes between Jamie Johnson and Willie Nelson, and Glastonbury was effing insane. That was in front of 80,000 people. Chris Christopherson was kind enough to give us 4 minutes of his set. I sang, played the guitar solo, and then I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Christopherson." Next question. Did he and his A Star is Born co-star, Barbra Streisand, ever come to the set? Bradley Cooper. He came the day that we shot at the Chateau Montmartre, and he stayed for 5 hours with his wife. Lady Gaga. I just burst into tears when I saw him. Barbara came to the set and she watched some of the film. Bradley Cooper. She gave us a blessing. Everybody was so excited she was there. We just looked at each other and were like, wow, how are we here right now? Next question. You guys also shot on the Saturday Night Live stages. How did you get that access? Bradley Cooper. Yeah, that was not easy. I just never wanted to do a montage of her rise. I didn't want a montage in the movie like that. And I thought, how can we show the rise? And Saturday Night Live is the only place you can go when somebody has arrived to a new spot. There is nothing else. I hosted that show in 2008, way before The Hangover. because somebody dropped out and I knew a bunch of people in the cast. I got to know parentheses creator Lorne Michaels then, and I fell in love with him. He's one of the great people. We had lunch in the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I said, "Don't make me recreate it in LA." He was kind enough, and he said, "Yeah." So we used all the crew. She performed as Allie on that stage. Lady Gaga. We used their cameras too. We did the whole thing. Next question. Allie is very close with her father, played by Andrew Dice Clay. Gaga, I know you are similarly close with your dad. Is that something you brought to the script? Bradley Cooper. That was always in the script, but parentheses, she and parentheses, was so kind. When Eric and I started writing the script, we asked her about her life and stories. Then we recorded everything. Then Eric, parentheses, Roth, and parentheses, and I would take that. Next question. Dave Chappelle has a small dramatic role in the film as one of Jackson's old friends. How did that come about? Bradley Cooper. Richard Pryor is my hero, and I've always been obsessed with stand-up comedy since I was a kid, but I really idolized him and studied him as an actor. I think he's one of the great actors, and there is something that when you get up on stage in front of people 8 times a week for years and years and years, there is a level of authenticity that you just bring. I always thought stand-up comedians would be the best actors. Dave Chappelle is somebody I find magical. I was doing a play in London, and he came, and we hung out all night. I spent 2 years trying to get him for the film. For the film was said in parentheses. Okay, this is Angela, and I want to add a little aside here, a little thought. Perhaps you share it with me. When I saw this film, A Star is Born, this current version that this article is about, starring Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, when it came to the part in the movie where Dave Chappelle is Bradley Cooper's very good friend, there is a man in real life who is, he plays with the members of, most of the members of Grateful Dead in a band that he formed called Dead and Company. He has been on stage playing with a guitar for the last 20 years. He sings rhythm and blues, kind of folk, rock, like In the Blood or Walt Grace, songs of his. He is also a guitar genius and plays songs like Gravity. And he had a blues trio called the John Mayer Trio. Yes, it is John Mayer that I'm speaking of. And another reason I bring him up is he is not just a rock star, but he's the rock star who is friends with Dave Chappelle. In fact, to in such a degree that before the pandemic, they were doing these shows every once in a while called Controlled Danger. And I only mention this because I am very surprised that Bradley Cooper didn't mention John Mayer in his answer. But, that's just my take on it. There you have it. Next question. There's a truly stunning moment with Allie singing a beautiful ballad at the Shrine in Los Angeles. Tell me a little about shooting that. Lady Gaga. My very, very, very dear friend, Sonia, died of cancer that day. We were supposed to shoot in like 30 minutes, and I left the set because her husband called me and I could hear in the background. And I just got in the car and drove. I missed her by 15 minutes and she died. I literally lay with her husband and their dog and his son. When I came back, Bradley was so gentle with me and we got through it. I performed the song. He was like, "You don't have to do it again. It's okay." All I wanted to do was sing. I'll never forget that day. It was really a special scene, and I'll always remember that moment. This is Angela. I just wanted to say here that I lost my own mom to cancer when I was 14. And I don't know if everybody understands what cancer is, but I do. And I know it was very hard for Lady Gaga to tell about that day. And I love you, Lady Gaga, and I so appreciate you telling that story, the details of that day. And we all love you. And Sonia is in heaven, and she loves you too. I could not just go on to the next question without saying these things. Okay, and the next question is, this movie is a love story, but it's also a powerful portrait of a man struggling with addiction and depression, subjects that are very timely at this moment. What do you hope people take away from it? Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper. I mean, ultimately, it would be wonderful if it could impart some understanding of the human plight. I know that's why I wanted to tell this story, so I could even help understand it myself. Also, to recognize that trauma is real, and traumatic events that occur, especially early in life, if they're not dealt with and aided, will have ramifications that go on and on and on and on and on. Lady Gaga, that they're real and that it's an invisible illness to many people. I'm so grateful to have been a part of this film, for that reason. And Bradley's choice to do it in the way that he did in the film, I feel it paints a very, very compassionate lens. Next question. Allie has a speech where she talks about how people in the industry have pushed her to get a nose job. Gaga, have you ever faced that kind of scrutiny and judgment in your career? Lady Gaga. Oh, yeah. I mean, when I wrote my earliest hits, people were trying to take my songs and give them to other people. I was like clutching to them for dear life, thinking, I finally wrote a hit. I can't give it away. I was not the prettiest girl in the room. I was a little weird, and I liked being weird. I didn't like to be sexual in a way that other pop stars or pop groups were. I was my own thing. It's heartbreaking because you feel like, why am I not enough? Next question. You've also been very honest about your struggles with chronic pain and fibromyalgia. How was it during production? Lady Gaga. It was up and down, but you know what? I have an incredible director and friend and lead actor, and I had him by my side the whole time we did it. Next question. Gaga, do you remember when you first saw the finished film? Lady Gaga. Well, he was so kind. He flew to where I was and he played it for me and some friends of mine. I just remember that from the very first frame, I just burst into tears. I literally cried watching the whole movie. I had to watch the film several times before I could watch it as an audience member, if that makes any sense. Next question. Bradley, you've been working on this for 3 years. Are you now able to let go of it? Bradley Cooper. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Believe me. I didn't let go of it until I felt like, okay, that was it. I remember the last time I saw it, we were coloring it for months, and I brought 2 of my friends in. When the movie ended, I went, that's it. I knew it was over. Someone asked me the other day, are you terrified, nervous? The truth is, I'm not. I would have been terrified if it wasn't the movie I wanted to make, or I felt like I had left something on the field. We haven't left anything on the field. I mean, it's all there. Whether it works or not, I mean, look, talk to me if it's a bomb and see how I feel. But I can really say that I'll take the heat or whatever it is because it's the movie I wanted to make. Last question. Is this the start of a new ongoing creative collaboration like Tracy and Hepburn? Bradley Cooper. That would be amazing. Lady Gaga. If I'm lucky enough. And that is the end of the interview. If you haven't seen this movie, it is my wish for you that you do. And I'll just go ahead and say right now so it's in your pocket, you're welcome. As always, if you liked this film, which was a video blog, which was a read of a printed interview, give it that cute little thumbs up, please. And if you like the interviews on my page and you'd like to subscribe, that would be amazing. This is only, I think, my 3rd episode in, so you'd be starting at the beginning, and I would really like to have you along on this journey. This is an adventure for me, and I hope that you see it that way too. If you'd like to hear about the interviews in the future as they come up, just go ahead and hit that bell. Thanks for listening. Now you go out there and be the star of your own life. Bye for now.